On top of the hour, let's get you detail about the Greenland controversy, a big move that has been made by Donald Trump. He's put, in fact, tariff on the NATO allies. He has imposed 10% of the tariff on 8 nations. And he has said, and I quote, that starting February 1st, tariff threat, 25% tariff from June 1st is what Donald Trump has said. He has said the tariff will increase to 25%. He has put the pressure on his own allies as far as the entire Greenland row is concerned. He has said that starting February 1st, 2026, all the above mentioned countries, that is Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the UK, Netherlands and Finland, they will be charged 10% tariff on any or all the goods sent to the United States of America. On June 1st, he has said that tariff will be increased to 25%, and that's a big statement that is coming from Donald Trump. Another day, another tariff threat that Donald Trump has given, and this time to the 8th nation, the NATO allies and part of the European Union. And he has said that starting next month, 10% will be imposed, and then starting June 1st, it will be increased to 25% if they send any of the troops to Greenland that he has been eyeing on. Well, let me take you through what Donald Trump has posted on social media and what the decision that he has taken. Let me take you through that. He has said, and I quote, "We have subsidized Denmark and all of the countries of European Union and others for many years by not charging them tariff or any other form of tariff. Now, after centuries, it is time for Denmark to give it back. World peace is at stake. China and Russia want Greenland, and there is not a thing that Denmark can do about it. They currently have 2 dog sleds as protection and one added recently. Only the United States of America under President Donald Trump can play in this game, and very successfully at that. Nobody will touch this sacred piece of land," and here he's talking about Greenland, especially since the national security of the US is and the world is at large is at stake. On the top of everything else, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands and Finland, they have journeyed to Greenland. They've sent their troops there for purpose unknown. This is a very dangerous situation for the safety, security and the survival of our planet, is what he said. These countries who are playing this very dangerous game have put a level of risk in play that is not tenable or sustainable. Therefore, it is imperative that in order to protect the global peace and security, strong measures be taken so that this potentially serious situation and quickly without the question. So this is the decision that is taken so far. Starting February 1st, 2026, all of the above mentioned countries, that is Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom and the Netherlands and Finland will be charged with a 10% tariff or on any or all the goods sent to United States of America. On June 1st, 2026, the tariff will be increased to 25%, and this tariff will due and be payable until such time as a deal is reached for a complete and total purchase of Greenland. So that remains the focus of Donald Trump, and he's saying that decision has been taken for the security of not just the United States but the entire nation. And he has also said that if he doesn't do it, then China and Russia will take over this territory. For more on this, let me go across to our consulting editor, Srinjoy Chaudhary. Good morning, Srinjoy. Take us through the decision that has been taken by Donald Trump so far and what actually led to this imposition of 10% tariff on the 8 countries that we've mentioned.
तो अब क्या करना है?
We'll try and reconnect that line with our consulting editor, Srinjoy Chaudhary, but that's a decision that has been taken by Donald Trump. He said that he is imposing a 10% tariff on these 8 countries that have been mentioned, and that will be increased to 25% because he's saying that he wants Greenland, he wants to buy Greenland, and if he does not do so, then China and Russia will take it over, and that's not good for the security of not just the United States or Greenland, but for the entire globe, is what he has mentioned. And now we're learning that a reaction has also come in from the country that he's imposed the tariff on. They're very concerned about this. They are saying that they will be calling an emergency meeting on this. But another day, another tariff threat that has been given by Donald Trump, a 10% tariff on 8 countries as far as the entire Greenland controversy is concerned. For more on this, let me once again bring in our consulting editor, Srinjoy. Good morning, Srinjoy. Take us through the decision that has been taken by Donald Trump so far, and most importantly, do tell us about why he has taken a decision to impose, in fact, tariff on his own allies.
Yes, these 8 countries, European countries, are all members of NATO and all members of the European Union, and they are all his allies, allies of America. Of these 8 countries, 2 are P5 nations with nuclear weapons. And if you look at these countries, 3 of them are are at least among the 10 largest economies of the world. Germany, which is probably the 3rd largest, Britain and France. Now, what happens? Trump has turned on his own allies because he believes that he needs, and America needs, Greenland for national security. He believes that Greenland has all of 3 dog sleds, and naturally that would not be enough in case of Russian or Chinese aggression. Now, while that is so, there are different opinions that are emerging from here. Number one, the Europeans say that in the past, 15,000 NATO soldiers were stationed in Greenland. Now there are 150 or so. What stops NATO from having 10,000-15,000 soldiers? Already the French have sent troops at the request of Denmark. So can the Germans, so can the British, so can the Nordic countries, so can the Dutch. So therefore, this security threat that Trump is talking about can be countered quite easily. That's the European position. Trump believes that it's not about oil, it's not about rare earths, it's about national security. So these are 2 separate and different messages that are coming out. Now, Trump has imposed 10% tariffs on his friends and allies. How is that going to play out? Will the Europeans, the 8 European countries, impose counter tariffs? We have to see. Also, very importantly, we must see whether this is a message to the Chinese vis-a-vis Taiwan and a message to the Russians vis-a-vis, let's say, the Baltic states.
Absolutely, and now it remains to be seen whether there will be a counter tariff by all these countries as far as the tariff threat by Donald Trump is concerned. Remember, one of them is also United Kingdom, and a strong reaction has come in from their Prime Minister. Let me take you through what he has posted on social media. A strong reaction that is coming from Keir Starmer, who is the Prime Minister of UK. He said, and I quote, "Our position on Greenland is very clear. It is part of Kingdom of Denmark, and the future is a matter of Greenlanders and the Danes. We've also made it clear that the security matters for the whole of the NATO and the allies should all do more together to address the threat from Russia across different parts of the Arctic. Applying tariff on allies for pursuing the collective security of NATO allies is completely wrong. We will, of course, be pursuing this directly with the US administration." So he has called the imposition of the tariff, the 10% that Donald Trump has imposed, completely wrong, saying that they will be holding conversation with the US administration as well. Not just this, we are learning that the president of France has also reacted to this very strongly, and we will take you through that reaction as well, what Emmanuel Macron has said on this matter. But as far as Keir Starmer is concerned, he has said that the tariff imposition is completely wrong. Let me take you through what the president of France has also said. Remember, it is UK and also France that have been, in fact, slapped with the tariff. He has said that France is committed to the sovereignty and independence of the nation in Europe and elsewhere. This guides our choices. It underpins our commitment to the United Nations and its charter. It is on this basis that we support and will continue to support Ukraine, and that we have built a coalition of the willing for a robust and lasting peace to defend these principles and our security. And this is where he mentioned about Donald Trump's tariff. It is also on this basis that we've decided to take part in the exercise organized by Denmark Denmark and Greenland. We fully assume that this decision, because security in this area and the outer edges of Europe is at stake, no intimidation or threat will influence us, neither in Ukraine nor in Greenland nor anywhere else in the world where we are confronted with such situation. Tariff threats are unacceptable and they have no place in the context. Europeans will respond in a united and coordinated manner should they be confirmed. We will ensure that European sovereignty is also upheld. In this spirit, I will engage with our European partners, is what he has said. But most importantly, this remains the big message by France as far as the imposition of tariff is concerned, that no threat will influence us, neither in Ukraine nor in Greenland, nor anywhere in the world. Now, it is very important to mention here is something that he's also mentioned here, that they have decided to take part in the exercise organized by Denmark in Greenland, and just few days back they had sent their troops to Greenland as well. For more on this, let me bring in former diplomat KP Fabian. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. How do you look at the tariff that has been imposed by Donald Trump on his own allies? Another day, another tariff threat that Donald Trump has said, 10% next month, and 6 months later, it will be increased to 25%.
Thank you. It appears that Trump believes that for solving all problems, either you send in the Marines, as he did in the case of Venezuela, or you impose tariffs. Now, the question is how Europeans will react. This Sunday, the EU, 27-member EU, is meeting to find a common position. But I want to raise a question. When Trump started his tariff war, how did EU behave? They did not show any guts. They succumbed to him. So Trump has a certain advantage here, and I will not be surprised, though I will be shocked if Europe eventually surrenders. But they have another option, that is to impose counter tariffs on Trump, on United States. And if you look at the GDP of United States and European Union, they are almost, on par. And if Europe has a gut, it can stand up. But I do not know whether Europe has the guts.
Absolutely, and that is why they have reacted very sharply to this, that they will be holding conversation with the United States administration over this. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing your perspective on this. A reaction has also come in from the European Union, is what we're learning. They have warned tariff risk as a dangerous downward spiral, calling emergency meeting as well. Now, hours after US President Donald Trump threatened to impose 10% tariff on Denmark and other EU countries, that is European Union countries, their chief has stated that tariff undermine the relation and risk a dangerous downward spiral. She has extended complete solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland and pushed for a dialogue to resolve the disagreement between the NATO allies. So as far as EU is concerned, they're seeking dialogue. As far as UK is concerned, they're saying that they will be holding a conversation, a meeting with the US administration. And as far as France is concerned, they are saying that this is completely wrong and they will be holding a meeting with their NATO allies. Let me once again bring in our consulting editor, Shinjoy. Shinjoy, now very serious reactions coming in from EU, from UK Prime Minister, from French President as well. You're saying that the only counter could be a counter tariff that could be imposed by the EU countries on Donald Trump. Take us through how they are taking the imposition of the 10% tariff.
There are two things that have to be looked at here. First, is the EU together? Are all 27 countries on the same page? If they are, the possibility of the European Union imposing counter tariffs is there. And the European Union economies altogether does come up to about 30 trillion, because Germany, France and Britain alone get you to about 12 trillion. So that's something that has to be looked at. Even if there are counter tariffs by the 8 countries involved, that's still a substantial amount. Now, is this something that they are willing to do. We will have to see how the European Union as a whole react. Now, how are the Italians going to react to this? How are the Hungarians going to react to this? Also, now that these two countries could have different views, what will the 8 countries do? What will the others do? That's the first thing. Secondly, this 25% tariff that Trump speaks about in June. Now, there is still 6 months. There is still 6 months to negotiate something, which is why he's spoken about June. Let's see how that goes. But it's also important to know that other countries are watching. How will the Chinese see this whole thing? They see this as a breakup. Do they see this as a breakdown as far as NATO is concerned? Is NATO dead after all? This is a question that the Chinese will ask themselves. This is a question that the Russians will ask. Is NATO finally dead? So these are things that others have spoken about in the past. When Trump was elected, there were European leaders who wondered if the security of Europe depended on the swing voters of Pennsylvania and Michigan, the people who voted Trump to power. Now they have their answer.
Absolutely, and that's a big threat that Donald Trump has given, that he is imposing 10% of the tariff on his own allies starting next month. Stay on with us, Srinjoy.